Hi everyone, I'm Andy Barrow, I'm the CTO of A&S, and today I'm going to talk about innovation. And there's no better slide to start about innovation than the billion-dollar triangle. Now the interesting thing about innovation is a lot of these organisations now and a lot of these services that you can see, you're probably using every day. Things on here like Just Eat, things on here like Spotify, I use a lot of them, the Fitbit and LinkedIn and all the way down Zynga. Now traditionally when you started a business, the first thing you thought about is how can this business turn a profit? How long will it take before it turns a profit? You see a lot of these businesses here in this billionaire triangle. What these guys are proving is that profit is actually becoming second to disruption. Many of these organisations that you see in front of you, although they're valued at billions and billions and billions, actually a lot of organisations and financial organisations are stating that these guys may never turn an actual profit. We live in such a world where innovation and the barriers to entry of business are so small now that anybody can start a disruptive business and actually change an entire industry. And here are some of the finest examples. Atom Bank. This is revolutionising the way we think about personal finance. This is a UK-based business that is a brand new bank designed from the ground up to be mobile native. If you were to rethink the way you want to interact with your bank again for personal banking, how would you do it? This is what this is designed to do. There is no legacy to take with you. You're not trying to retrofit an old world into a new world. This is effectively the kind of bank that I believe my daughter will be using in years to come. And I encourage any of you to download the app and try it. I've done it. It really is quite fascinating about how it changes the experience of personal account, getting a mortgage, everything through an app, completely 100% digital, designed and built for the next generation. Highly disruptive. Cover's interesting because it puts a new spin on the insurance industry. Now, the interesting thing about cover is you can now simply be insured on a car for an hour. Now, the interesting thing about that is what it might do to logistics and the way that people can now use that. There'll be new business models coming from different ways of thinking about insurance like this. Google have patented a sticky bonnet. So if you are to get hit by a computer that you sit in, a driverless car, you're going through the central reservation with it. Right? Now the interesting thing here is this is a really good news if actually it can really help, accidents. But in reality, if you're a cat, it's not good news because next door's cat's coming to work with me if that's the case. That sits on my bonnet every night and it's not going anywhere. So we've now got Google patenting bonnets that are sticky. So all these different things and all these different ideas and all these different ways in which people are starting to change the world. So what this has taught me to think about is how do we actually manage innovation? Should we put a process around innovation? The last thing we want is a process around ideas. We want to inspire ideas. But what is the process that organisations are starting to use to make sure they cultivate innovation? If you take a look at courtesy of Simon Wardley and Wardley Mapping, you take a value chain. This has been quite popular. Certainly quite a few articles have been done in the UK press about it, in CIO magazine, about organisations now trying to work out how they map out the landscape to make sure that they're spending the most time on the most innovative things and they are pioneering in their area, making sure they are driving core business and actually using utility providers or best-of-breed providers to get various components that they can buy in as a service. If you listen to the Web 2.0 guys speak, they'll talk about the OODA loop. I know Netflix is a prime example. This is something that they use in one of their presentations, that they observe, orient, decide, and act, and that is the process. It's a 4-step process. The first thing that we do is we observe the pain point, and we work through the other 3 phases, and we execute using cloud, and it makes us very fast. Now, the interesting thing here is that these organisations work out how many times they can get around this loop in a day. And they're going round the loop multiple times a day, thinking of something, executing, did it work, yes or no? If it worked, great, try it again, make it better. If it didn't, bin it off, try another one. So what you can see from these organisations is the way that they innovate and the way that they can process and go around and make things better and go round again and make things better. And some of our value in the industry is how do we help you get around that loop as fast as possible. Civilization advances by extending the number of operations which we can perform without thinking about them. And that's back from a guy over 100 years ago. When I actually divulge that and I put that into today's speak, what does that actually mean? What Alfred's basically saying is automate everything. Remove the human. If you want to advance what you do as an organisation, you take the things that are human-centric and process-driven and you automate them and you move on to something else. That is what you do. And he saw that years ago. And it's a great quote that sums up basically the principle. If you want to be fast, and you want to be lean, you want to be efficient, you want to gain competitive advantage, automate everything you possibly can. So, what this has given us is a new era of IT processes. It's not just about the traditional change control that we're all used to, we maybe been used to for 20 years. You're going to see the advent of things like continuous and agile and DevOps and all these new different types of cultures and ways that businesses are experimenting, and they're throwing the rule book away. And they say, we don't do that anymore, it's not fast enough, it's not efficient enough, it wastes too much time. We need to get the product to market, we need to get the application online. Whatever it may be, people are throwing the rule book away and coming up with brand new ways to enhance business process to make sure that they can gain competitive advantage. And whether this is continuous operations, continuous testing, continuous auditing, agile software development, maybe changing from a traditional ITIL into a DevOps culture. The interesting thing is now all these processes are about making sure you can create a high-performing IT department. Now, in terms of what you execute on, and if you take the OODA loop, a lot of organisations out there say, hey, we want a private cloud. And a private cloud is a fantastic thing for an organisation to have. But we know they're difficult to build, and this is a popular article from last January where Trevor from the Register basically talks about everybody wants a private cloud, but they're really, really, really difficult to build, and how is this market going to evolve? And the interesting thing here is there's three ways in which there is a barrier to adopting a private cloud. The first one is time. They take a long time. Private clouds take months, if not years. They take a completely different type of talent. You need completely different integration skills, the complexity, the people you need, the time you need. You know, it's all next generation API integration work. You need to think differently. You need to think differently about how you deploy infrastructure. And then there's a trust problem. You might get something that works, but actually how sustainable is that? How do you continually optimize that? How do you make sure it does event and error handling? When you start to now abstract complexity into something that's driven through self-service for ease, how do you now make sure that you can actually guarantee the uptime of that infrastructure? So those are the three T's, and we've used those before, but they're really the same with private cloud. It's time, talent, and trust are the three blockers to actually building a really good, solid private cloud solution. And the interesting thing, and a lot of analysts are saying this, is we believe that infrastructure and private cloud will become product, not project. This is a nice piece of analyst work from the turn of the year. This is from December 2015, that talks about the forecasting of true automated self-service private clouds will begin shipping to the market in 2016. These are private clouds that are a SKU number. They're a product from a single integrator with a single point of support and a single release cycle to make sure the platform is continually optimized for the life of its ownership. And this is a fantastic article for anybody who wants to go and read it. It's from Wikibon. So Rapid really defines infrastructure becoming a product and not a project. So what will Rapid do? Well, the first thing that Rapid does is Rapid is a pre-integrated private cloud platform that ships from point of order, workload ready, to anywhere in the world in 28 days. That is what Rapid is. So that's accelerating the time to realize value of a private cloud. It's a 20 times faster time to realize value over building from individual components yourself in-house. But I believe really you can sum Rapid up a little bit more simpler than that. What will it really allow me to do? What will Rapid do for my organization? Why do I need it? Why do I want it? Well, the interesting thing is the first thing that we want to do is we want to help you innovate. Because that's really our value. We must help our customers innovate. We must help them gain competitive advantage. We must help them beat the competition. We must help them reduce waste. And really, I want to open up IT and make it consumable to more people. That's the value in self-service infrastructure. That's the value in using cloud methodologies. You spawn innovation by taking the barriers away. You take the barriers away through self-service. So that's really how it's going to help you innovate. We want to help you operate better. We want to streamline the business process. We want to automate everything we can. We want to remove human process, and we want to give you a more reliable, faster infrastructure than what you had before. We want to help you adopt continuous. We want to help you adopt agile. We want to help you adopt DevOps if that's the right thing for your organization. And we want you to do all of that faster. And we can help you do it faster, and Rapid will help you do it faster. From point of order to delivery and ready for use in 28 days. And then the system ships with all the automation and all the change control procedures to allow you to embrace all the next generation change control techniques that your organization is looking for to gain its competitive advantage. There's three architectures for Rapid. Each one is defined by its scaling model. The first popular one that we've shipped for over 6 years is the Flex series. This is IDC's #1 converged infrastructure based on FlexPod. And we've now adapted this to become a true enterprise private cloud. This private cloud is brilliant If you have multiple mixed workloads, lots and lots of applications with different requirements, different performance requirements, different tiers of storage, different tiers of compute, this is the platform for you. It's our most flexible private cloud platform. We've then got what's built for a little bit more for the next generation. So this is the Fire series. It's an incredibly high performing, probably our most richest private cloud platform in terms of functionality. A distributed scale out model, next generation scaling model, so node-based, cloud-like, incredibly high performance all flash. And this is designed for organizations that are really starting to look at incredible automation capability along with extreme high performance. And then we've got our Rail series. And our Rail series is based on hyperconverged technology. And this is great for small office, remote office. It's great for point workloads and workload optimized services such as desktop as a service or VDI deployments. And that's our Rail series. Each architecture has a core value proposition that it solves. And you can merge two together. You can have flex fires and you can have fire rails depending on what you want to do. All factory integrated, all delivered to you, ready for use within the month. So a little bit of final advice when thinking about a private cloud. Buy, don't build. Use, don't manage. And treat as a product, not a project. And those are the three things that Rapid solves. Rapid will help you innovate and operate better, faster. Thank you very much.